Hello, welcome to Mathematics Me, a wonderful and lovely program designed for wonderful and lovely people like you. Today on Mathematics Me, we are going to look at the part 3 of what? Sort. Remember, we have looked at the first part and the second part where we consider the meaning and examples of sort and also the basic laws in sort. So today, we are going to look at the third part of sort, and in this part 3, we will be looking at expressing sort in basic form. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you follow us on Facebook at Mathematics and Science Me. Thank you. Let's begin this wonderful and lovely journey on expressing sorts in basic form. Now, before we can begin to express sorts in basic form, it is necessary that we understand when a sort is said to be in basic form. We must know when a sort is in basic form, then we can now begin to express the sort in basic form. So join me. Let's see what we mean by basic form of sort. Okay. A sort is said to be in basic form if the sort is written, in the form where A is a whole or rational number and B is a number that is as small as possible. So whenever we write a sort in this form, that sort is said to be in what? In basic form, where A is a whole number or a rational number. Now you remember in our first video we took time to explain what we mean by rational number. We took time to explain that. So there is need for you to watch the first video if you will understand the concept of what? Of rational number. So when we write a sort in this form such that A is a rational number or whole number and B is a number that is as small as possible, that sort is said to be in what? In basic form. So let's see examples. Examples, we can have 2 root 7, 3 root 5, 4 root 2, 11 root 6, 5 root 15, 7 root 10, etc. Now, all these are examples of what? Sorts that are in basic form. 2 root 7, 3 root 5, 4 root 2, 11 root 6, 5 root 15, 7 root 10, and so on. Now, what makes these sorts to be in what? In basic form. You look at this. This is a whole number or a rational number also. And then this 7 under the square root sign, that's the radical, can no longer be what? Reduced. So the same thing applicable to the rest. So once a sort is in this form, the sorts are said to be in basic form. And if I still have a sort like this one is also in basic form because I can no longer reduce this. So the rational number outside here is 1, but we don't have 1 root 2. So when we have 1 root 2, it's just root 2. Just like we can, when we have in algebra, we have x. We cannot say 1x. Rather, we just say x. But we know the coefficient is still what? Is still 1. So here, this just like saying 1 root 2, but it is unmathematical to make such statements anyway. So we just say root 2. And when we have this, we just say square root of 3. We can have the square root of 7. So these ones are also in basic form because the number under the square root can no longer be what? Reduced. Okay? Let's begin. Let's move forward further and look at other aspects of expressing sort in basic form. Before we look at those aspects, that is how we can now express sort in basic form, it is necessary that we make this statement. Why are we looking at basic form of sort? the knowledge of basic source of some basic form of salt is necessary, very, very necessary in carrying out other operations in salt. The knowledge of basic form of salt is necessary in carrying out other operations in salt, like addition operation, subtraction operation, multiplication operation, or even in rationalization. The knowledge of basic form of salt will be applied in other operations involving salt. So let me put that down so that we will know by the time we now begin to carry out these operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and so on. If we begin to bring in the concept of basic form of salt, we will not be surprised. So let's say this: the knowledge of basic form of salt is necessary in carrying out operations in salt. So the operations we carry out in salt, like the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on, that's rationalization and so on, the knowledge of basic form will be applied in carrying out these operations. Okay, now how are we going to express a salt in basic form? If we want to express a salt in basic form, what are we going to do? So quickly, to express a salt in basic form, we take these steps. 1, take notes of the salt. 2, find pair of factors that their product will give the number in the salt. Then 3, select the pair that contains the largest perfect square. 4, use the selected pair to replace the number in the salt. Then apply the basic law of multiplication in salt to simplify in order to obtain your answer. Okay, wow, just 5 simple steps will do the magic. To express a salt in basic form, we take these steps. 1, take note of the salt. Find pair of factors that their products will give the what? The number in the salt. Select the pair that contains the largest perfect what? Square. Use the selected pair to replace the number in the salt. Then apply the basic law of multiplication in salt to simplify in order to obtain your what? Your answer. Wow. Alright, these 5 steps will do the magic of expressing salt in basic form. We will not go further. We need to take a short break, and when we return, we are going to start applying these steps in order to what? Express salt in basic form. Thank you, and remain blessed.
Some questions, sir?
Yes, you can have.
For a student, sir?
Yes, I'm still a student.
5 mango and 2 bananas.
5 mango and 2 bananas?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be 7 banana mango.
Sir?
I said
Oh, no. Sir?
I said 7 banana mango.
Come here.
Good afternoon.
Can I ask a question, ma'am?
You can ask me.
Are you a student, ma'am?
I'm a student. Okay, ma'am.
5 mangoes and 3 bananas.
20 go. 20 mango. 20 bananas go.
God, why now?
20 bananas go. 20.
All right. Welcome once again to Mathematics Meal. So far we have looked at expressing salts in basic form. In our previous video, we took time to look at the steps that are involved in expressing salt in basic form after we have considered what we meant by basic form of what? Of salt. So today, we want to look at questions on expressing salt in basic form. We want to solve some examples on basic form of salt. Already we know the steps. We decided to leave the steps. In our previous video, we generated these steps. We decided to leave it so that we'll be making reference to these steps as we carry out our calculation. So if you are joining us for the first time, there is need for you to watch the previous videos on what? On salt, so that you can follow us properly. All right, let's move. Express the following salts in basic word, in basic form. I believe we still remember what we mean by basic form of salt. We say that a salt written in this form is in basic word form, where A is a rational number or a whole number, and B is a number that is as small as possible. In other words, you can no longer reduce it. You can no longer reduce the number. So, we say to express a salt in basic form, we have about 5 steps that we are going to apply. So let's look at the first question. Question number 1. We have square root of 12. We want to express this in basic form. What are we going to do? We say take note of the salt. We have taken note of this salt. They say find pair of factors. Find pair of factors that their products will give what? We give the number in the what? In the salt. Find pairs of factors that their product will give the number in the salt. So what are numbers that I will multiply to give me what? 12. That would be 1 times 12, 2 times 6, that would be 3 times 4, and nothing more. Yeah. So I've seen pairs of factors. They say select the pair that contains the largest perfect word, square. All right. In your knowledge, from the knowledge of numbers, we know that when you look at properties of numbers, one of the things you look at is prime numbers, prime factors, then perfect square. And a perfect square is a number whose square root is what? A whole number. So when the square root of a number is a whole number, that particular number is a perfect square. So what we are trying to do here is to check these pairs. Which one contains the largest perfect square? We know that 1 is a perfect square, and then we know that 4 is a perfect square. So there is a perfect square here, there is a perfect square here, but which one is larger? 4 is actually larger than 1, is bigger than 1. So we select the pair that contains the largest perfect square. So this one contains the largest perfect square. We know why 4 is a perfect square, because square root of 4 is a whole number. Square root of 4 is 2. Okay? We now use that pair. They say use the selected pair to replace the number in the salt. So instead of having 12 again, this is our selected pair. We use it to replace the number in the salt. We still know that 3 times 4 will give us what? 12. Okay? Apply the basic law of multiplication in salt to simplify in order to obtain your what? Answer. You remember that in our basic law, we have said that if I have square root of A times square root of B is same thing as square root of A times B. That means if I'm multiplying this, I can separate them like this. And if they are separate like this, I can bring them under one square root. So if I apply this, that means this is in this form, I can bring it in this form. 3 times this. That's what we mean by apply the basic law of multiplication in salt to simplify in order to obtain your answer. So we're going to apply this basic law. Now, this is in this form. I want to put it in this form. So this is in this form. Let me bring it in this form. So I can separate this 3 and 4 as square root of 3 times square root of 4. Then I will simplify. What is square root of 4? Square root of 4 is 2. So I have square root of 3 times 2. And when 2 multiply this, we have 2 with 3. Wow. That's our answer. We'll now see that this is actually in basic form now. is in basic form. It's in basic form because we have written this in the form A root B. So this A now, 2 represents A, and this 3 is representing B. Okay. Now here, many may make mistake of using 2 to multiply this. No, it's not possible. 2 is an ordinary number, so you cannot possibly multiply a number that is under the square root sign. So it will be a mathematical iniquity, an abomination in mathematics. If someone multiplies this and say it's root 6 or square root of 6, that would be a mathematical abomination. Yes, a mathematical abomination. It will be violating the laws of mathematics, and you could be arrested for that. That might be. Okay, I believe that this is clear. So, because we still want to leave this and look at it one more time, let's claim this. I believe you have taken note of this. So, let's look at our second question. Question number 2. Question 2, we are given square root of 32. Okay? We have taken note of this as required by our steps. Then we have find the pair of factors that will give us this. 1 times 32, 2 times 16. 3 cannot go, 4 times 8. Which other one? Nothing more. Any other one? No. Okay? 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 4 times what? Times 8. So, select the pair with the largest perfect square. I have a perfect square here, I have a perfect square here. 16 is a perfect square because square root of 16 is what? 4. 4 is a perfect square because square root of 4 is what? 2, a whole number. So which one is larger between 16 and 4? 16 is larger, so we select this. So that's what we are selecting. We use it to replace the number under the square root sign. We know we have not changed anything because 2 times 16 will still give us what? 32. So we move. Applying the basic law of multiplication, we can separate this. So we have this square root of 2 times square root of 16. Beautiful. So square root of 2 times, what is square root of 16? It's a perfect square. We have 4. So 4 times this will give me 4 root what? 2. That's also beautiful. That's beautiful. So I believe that these steps are now, they are now becoming very clear to us. They are becoming very clear to us. Wow. So let's take the third and the fourth and the fifth examples quickly. By now, you can be mastering, instead of listing all the, you can now master, instead of listing all the perfect square, you can, all the pairs of factors, you now know the one that will contain a perfect square, so that you can just go straight without wasting time. But as a beginner, you can still continue to list a perfect square until it becomes very clear to you and becomes part of you. Okay, let's look at question 3. Question 3. We have number 3, square root of 48. Question number 3. Question 3. Okay. 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16, 4 times 12 will give me that. 6 times what? 8. All this, when you multiply them, they will give you what? 48. So which one are we going to select? I know you know. I know that you know. And I know that you know the one that we are going to select. Because you have watched the first example, you have also watched the second example. This third one is clearer, yeah, than when we first solved the problem. So which one? And that should be this. Why? This contains the largest perfect square. I have a perfect square here, but this one is larger than what? Than 4. So I'm going to use 3 times 16 to replace 48. So 3 times 16. I'll still separate square root of 3 times square root of 16, applying the basic law of multiplication. That will give me square root of 3 times 4. 4 times this will give me 4 root 3. Remember, we have said that it's a mathematical offense and a mathematical sin, a mathematical abomination for anyone to use an ordinary number to multiply a number under a square root sign. You cannot possibly use 4 to multiply these 3 here. No. 2 of them are not in the same form, so you cannot multiply. So that's why 4 will just multiply and become a rational number that is multiplying the what? The radical. So that's why we put it in this form instead of saying 4 times 3 to give you square root of 12. That's a mathematical iniquity. Okay, quickly, let's do the 4th and the 5th, and then we are off. So question number 4. All right, we have square root of 75. What are the numbers that will give us 75? 1 times 75, 3 times 25, and 5 times what? 15. Wow, these are the numbers. Quickly, we know the one that contains the largest perfect square, and that should be this. Square root of 25 is 5. So we replace 3 times 25, and that will give me square root of, we separate square root of 3 times square root of 25. Square root of 3 times square root of 25 is 5. And when 5 multiply this, we have 5 root 3. It's becoming interesting. Very, very interesting. And lastly, I believe you have mastered these steps. So you can now say goodbye to the steps. We can just wipe it so that we have some space to do our last question. Okay? All right. Our last question, we have question number 5, square root of 99. What are the pairs of numbers that will give us 99? 3 times 33. After 1 times, let's look at this. 1 times 99. 3 times 33. 4 cannot go, 5 cannot go, 6 cannot. Okay, 6 can go. Will 6 move here? No, 6 cannot. So 9 times 11. Yeah, I think that's all for now. That's all. And 9 is a perfect square. So we're going to use square root of 9 times 11. So if we separate, we have square root of 9 times square root of 11. Square root of 9 is 3 times square root of 11. And 3 times this will give me 3 root 11. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. We will not leave you empty-handed. It will not be wise for us to leave you empty-handed. That means we are going to give you 1 or 2 questions as takeaway questions. So let's have our takeaway question. Takeaway questions. What are we going to call today's takeaway questions? So many of us have taken pizza before. No? Okay, let's call it pizza. Let it become our pizza. So we have this. So express the following. Express the following sorts. The following sorts in our basic form. Basic form. Okay. Number 1. We have square root of 24. So we have square root of 72. We have square root of 288. 4, we have square root of 200. And 5, we have square root of 147. Wow! I believe that you enjoyed today's video. Yeah, it's a wonderful meal, and I believe that the meal has started digesting already. If it refuses to digest, just go through it again. Take water. That water will enhance the digestion. Don't mind me. We have come to the end of today's mathematics meal. Remember, there is need for you to do your takeaway question. Just take it away. That's why it's called takeaway question. The same way you take your snacks away when you go for an occasion, just take this away, relax, and solve them. If you still have any difficulty trying to express salt in basic form, you can contact us. Yeah, send a message to us, to our YouTube. Just leave a comment there of the areas you are finding difficult, or you can send a message to us in our on our Facebook platform, or you can also contact us through WhatsApp. Our phone number is there. Thank you, and God bless you.